All right, so many of you wrote to me. You saw that Donald Trump was spotted at his latest cabinet meeting with multiple Band-Aids on his right hand. And so this now becomes the next chapter in the continuing saga about Donald Trump's hands, which is just one part of the continuing saga about Donald Trump's health. So let me go through the iterations. First, Donald Trump had bruises on his hands, first notable on the right hand and eventually on both hands. Initially, the White House said nothing about it. There was nothing in the health reports of Donald Trump's that would suggest anything about bruising on the hands. Now, at some point, Donald Trump started to get a little self-conscious about the bruises because everybody on the internet was talking about them. And so Trump started covering the bruises with makeup. The problem was that, unfortunately, makeup that didn't quite match his skin tone was selected, and that only raised more questions, not to mention that, again, they were on both of Donald Trump's hands. Now, in the middle of all of this, at some point, the White House said, oh, this is from being out there in the world, working hard, and vigorously shaking hands with so many people. None of us believe that. The primary reason being that Trump only shakes hands with his right hand. That wouldn't explain why both of Donald Trump's hands had bruising on them and had makeup covering the bruises, so it's not a particularly believable explanation. Now, at the latest cabinet meeting, Trump has two Band-Aids, where previously he had makeup covering the bruises. Doctors wrote to me, and increasingly, the belief among not only doctors, but also nurse practitioners and nurses, all sorts of medical professionals wrote to me, and they said this suggests that Trump is getting IVs on a somewhat regular basis. The regular IV use on the top of the hands can cause bruising, and it can also cause the sorts of, I forget the word, I mean, hematoma just means bruise. There was another word that they used, but that it can cause damage to the top of the hand, essentially. And what a lot of people do, most people who are not in the public eye would never use makeup to cover it. They would just use a Band-Aid to try to prevent bumping that area. Now, if we imagine for a moment that that's true, that Trump is regularly getting an IV, we have to then say, well, what are the reasons that that's the case? And the reality is that it could be absolutely anything. On the one hand, the most sort of benign, now it's increasingly in vogue to get these liquid hydration IVs, people getting vitamins and nutriments through IV, and you can pay for the bags, and sometimes they even color them like neon green because people think, oh, the neon green stuff is definitely going to be doing more. Last time I was in Vegas, in fact, some of the people I stayed with at the hotel said, oh, they'll bring the whole IV setup and you can get a hangover prevention or hangover cure IV. So that would be like Trump's getting recreational IVs. I doubt that that's the case, but that, just to give you a sense, the spectrum of why someone is regularly getting IVs, that could be it. On the other hand, you could be getting anything via IV. Like, I'm not even going to speculate, but quite literally, it could be any sort of condition, some of them extraordinarily serious, some not. We have no idea. We just have no idea because, again, this would be part of the lack of transparency, part of the deception. The White House has never reported that Donald Trump has a condition for which he is regularly getting IV treatment. So we're left to speculate. And the theme here is that the explanations are always lagging the visible signs and symptoms by either weeks or months. After Trump was seen with the hand bruising for a while, the White House came out and said it's from shaking hands. By the time the White House said that, we already knew it was implausible since Trump doesn't shake hands with his left hand and he had bruises on both hands. So I don't know if and when we will really get an explanation here, but now Trump is using Band-Aids to cover the makeup that he was using to cover the bruises, or he's skipping the makeup altogether and just saying, I'm going to use the Band-Aids to cover the bruises. We aren't being given the whole story. If this were a Democratic president, this would be a scandal on all of right-wing media, period. But it's Trump. And so he claims to be the most transparent ever. And meanwhile, we get extraordinarily little information about what is actually going on here. Every time you Google your name, you will probably find dozens of sites that expose your personal information. This can include phone number, home address, family details. It's just sitting there waiting to be scraped or abused. Incogni is a privacy service. They go after these sites on your behalf. They contact the data brokers. They demand your data be removed, which the brokers are legally required to do. Incogni will automatically remove your information from hundreds of the biggest and most notorious data broker sites, but you're not just limited to those. You can use Incogni's custom removal if you find your info on a website outside of Incogni's default list. The team at Incogni will work to get that information removed. This is how you protect yourself and your family from identity theft, financial scams, harassment, even AI-powered profiling by ad companies. And Incogni's data removal process is the only one verified independently by Deloitte. This gives them a unique level of credibility. Try Incogni risk-free and get 60% off when you go to incogni.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman. The link is in the description.